Okay, all right, we're just obviously outside the vehicle and just sort of wanted to give you a bit of a run through to what components are with the vehicle as well. In the front, obviously, we've got our registration plate,
Yes.
which is a registration for the vehicle. And we'll go through all the components, although some of them might seem a bit trivial, but they're important too. This is obviously your headlights. On your headlights, you've got your low beam, then you've got your high beam, then you've got your indicators on the side, and then you've also got indicators on the side of the cars too. And this is obviously for the purpose of letting others know outside what direction you're changing. Underneath, we've got your fog lights, which we use primarily in like foggy weather. Even if it's smoke or hazy, you can actually drive with your hazards as well at a slow speed because you don't go fast through like smoke and things like that. So obviously you'll be able to, vehicles from the outside will be able to see what's going on. We've got our tyres, which all cars have tyres to get around. These have to be at a certain PSI.
How do I know if they are or not?
Well, one of the clear signs is if the tyre is flat,
Yep.
there's no air in there, but you do have to check them regularly.
When you say regularly, how?
I'd probably say every couple of weeks. I'd generally check mine every couple of weeks
Okay.
and make sure. Now these tyres are set at 39 PSI, so that's like the maximum amount of air that's allowed to be in there for the pressure. And you've got to unscrew the little cap here, enable to put the nozzle, and usually you can get it from a petrol station. If you have one of your own, you can, but usually going to a petrol station using a petrol air pump is the best way to go. You've got your side mirrors obviously on the outside, which is on the left side here. Most standard cars wouldn't have those little mirrors. They're more for driving instructing. And some people do have them. There's nothing wrong with having them, but obviously that's to help that when you're driving you can see the positioning and see the lines on the road from the side of the vehicle. You've got your door handle. Like I said, some of it's trivial, but it's also good to know. You've got your aerial on the roof of the car. Some of them are all a little bit different, but this is the one that's on the aerial. You've got your back tires. Now these little lines that you've got on the back of the windscreen, what do you think these are for?
Great question. I have no idea.
All right, when you push your demister, what do you reckon you're doing?
When you push your demister, what do you think?
When you
you're
push your
doing?
demister button inside the
You're
car.
unfogging.
That's right. How do they unfog? That's what these lines are for.
Okay, I
Yeah,
didn't.
I couldn't tell you exactly what they do, but I can tell you
I didn't know
how
that.
they do it.
No.
Is that when you press the demister and the windows are foggy, it unfogs them.
Okay.
Marvelous little invention while you're driving. You've got your backlights here as
Yes.
well. Red one is, what do you reckon that
Brake.
is? Very good. Orange is,
I don't know.
take a guess. What do you think it would be?
Orange is.
When you're driving and you want to let others know? Indicator.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yes, of course.
yeah, that's right.
It is,
And then
yes.
you've got your reverse lights
your
as well.
reverse lights, indicator, and brake. Yes, of
Now,
course.
most, if not all people, would like to say that when you've got the car in reverse,
Yep.
lights will come on from the back
Yep.
to obviously show that the car is in a reverse position. You've got your registration as well. You've
Yep.
got them in your front and the back of the vehicle.
Yep.
And then we've just got a little display. You've got your boot, which is in here,
Yep.
which is great for storing stuff, spare tires and other things like that. You've also got a little reflector on here. This vehicle's fit with reflector. I don't think all vehicles have that. Some do, some don't.
So not all vehicles.
No. Then you've got in here,
Your petrol.
all right, that's right. So why don't we just have a quick look and we'll see what it does. Do you want to pop the lever, which is for your petrol cap? Alrighty. Come over here. You can open that up. And that is where your
And
petrol
you
storage.
unscrew it?
Yeah, you'd be unscrewing. You don't need to do it now. It's on nice and securely. This is an unleaded vehicle. Most vehicles are unleaded. There are diesel, there are gas. At one point there was super vehicles as well, where they had super, which is a different grade of petrol, but they're pretty much not really around unless you're a collector's item. And that's how we fill up at the petrol station, and then we make sure
It's secure when you close
that's
it.
right, and it's closed as well. Moving along, we've got our right side mirrors
Mirrors, yeah.
as well, and then we've also got our indicator too, which is on the right hand side. And then we'll go over here and we pop the boot already, so we can lift the boot. I'll get you to hold this and I can show you. I'll take that. When you pop the boot, just have you got the camera just on here? When you pop the boot, there's a little lever to help release, so that you can lift the hood up. And then you use a little stand. If this thing falls on you, it's going to hurt. I'll do it over here. Alright, and then we've got everything that's underneath the hood. Alright, which pretty much you've got your engine all under here. You've got your oil cap over there. You fill up for oil.
Yep.
We've had this discussion before that you would never change the oil or put any water in the engine if you've been driving the vehicle and you've just stopped. You'd have to wait at least 5 to 6 hours, because that's right,
pressure.
it'll be like a
Yep.
volcanic eruption, and you'll probably have to go to hospital. We've got this little stick here. Now that is for to check the oil,
Yes.
check the level that it's at. We've also got another stick at the back there, that's your transmission fluid. So when we go from first, second, third, fourth, that's what helps it glide over and change over. I'll move these things up while we're doing it as well. Actually, do you want to hold that? And so I can show you. We've got under here, we've got your battery, right, which we can just have a look under there. Under here, we've got where your air filter is. This helps keep the engine cool. As air flows through as you're driving, it helps push air through, so it keeps the engine cooler. You've got your fuse box over here. Moving over to the left hand side, we've got some not gauges, we've got some little containers with liquid. We've got your power steering fluid, which is when your turning ability is that you're able to turn a lot easier. At one point in time, power steering wasn't invented, it was very stiff to turn, but now modern technology has helped us. We've also got fluid that goes in there. That's for your wipers.
The wipers. Okay,
that
so
when you
fluid
squirt
in
water,
there for wipers.
yeah, that's right.
And then that's your head gasket.
No,
not
yeah.
head gasket.
Well, yeah, it is. It's for your coolant.
Coolant.
Yeah, which is essentially would be here. A head gasket would go over like the radiator.
Okay.
You know, and that's where you put your coolant in.
Yeah.
And then you've got another one over here, which is your brake fluid as well.
So that's your brake fluid.
So these are all little things we've got. Just to point this out, just for FYI, you've got a little rubber belt there. That rubber belt goes, your car ain't going nowhere.
Okay.
And you'd have to get it fixed. But essentially, that's all the components that you need to know of as an engine. And everything that you'd need to. Any mechanical problems, generally you go to a mechanic unless you're quite savvy, you know, of a car. But it's always good to always get it checked over the mechanic. But essentially, I'm just thinking, is there anything else that we've forgotten? I think that's it, really. That is all the outside components of a vehicle. Great.